Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jeannie and this is my daughter Genesis. We previously made two videos together about how I left a narcissistic marriage. I was married to a covert Christian narcissist for 8 years and I decided to leave last December. So I am just taking you all along with me on my journey in the healing process along with my daughter, because a lot of people have had questions about leaving with children, and this tends to be a big concern. So this is, I guess, technically part 4 to this series, or this part of our lives. So in this video, I wanted to focus on answering a lot of y'all's questions as best as we can. If you want to catch up from the previous video, which is part 3, I already went into detail and covered how I left and the steps that I took to, kind of go ahead and leave, put that into motion. So, oh yes, and if y'all, several of y'all have also asked what Genesis YouTube channel is called, so you can go follow her. I'll try to link it below or pin it in the comments. But tell, what's your YouTube channel name?
It is Genesis Amaya.
Yes, it is. And she does reaction videos, so tell your kids, young adults, okay? So, okay, we'll start with the first question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, make sure they can hear both of us.
Yeah. Can you hear her? Can you hear her? We good? Okay.
Sorry. Was your daughter ever upset with you bringing him into your lives?
This is regarding the ex-husband. Like, were you upset? Were you upset?
Upset? Yeah, I feel like that's like
Valid
just an
answer.
emotional, kind of, it's an emotional situation. And yeah, of course I was upset at some point. But do I resent you or anything? No. I think there's a difference between being upset and resenting your parents for something. I think there's a level of forgiveness that I even had to have with you, and a level of grace, because it's just like, we were in a situation together. And you were married to him, so I could go off to college.
She believed me, sir.
I could go off to college. You
Look
were
like
the one that was married to him. Because, I don't...
Not no more. Not married no more.
Yeah, I just... Yeah.
So what would you tell, or... Because a lot of women, again, are afraid to leave because of the children, because of the kids. So... my advice to people, because I think there was another question too. My advice to women who are afraid to leave for the kids would be to think about the type of parent your child needs. Your children are not benefiting from you at all if you are constantly stressed and you are being abused yourself. Because it's emotional, spiritual, mental abuse, which in my opinion it's even worse, like, or it's just as bad as physical abuse. So I'm just not sure. I don't think that it's possible to be the best parent to your children if you're constantly having to struggle with a spouse. And I'm not saying you're not going to struggle at all when you leave. Yeah, there'll be some difficult times, but again, there's also a type of peace that accompanies you when you remove the toxic, person from your life. And so you can just focus on raising your children the way that you want to, and creating the environment in your home that you feel they are deserving of. So do you have anything for kids?
So that kind of answered the next question.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah.
How to leave with kids.
How to leave with kids. That's how you do it.
That's how you
gotta focus on you.
And,
Or how did you feel when I told you we were leaving?
I mean... I ain't gonna lie, I don't even remember. Like, I do kind of remember. I had just come from Thanksgiving with my bio dad and his family and stuff, and so I came home. Yeah. She didn't tell me jack squat when I first came home. I'm thinking everything cool and all of that. She picked me up from the airport, and he was at work, so that wasn't anything that was like, out of the ordinary. I texted y'all when I landed, and he texted something that was just like,
Hey, mommy's
Hey,
there
yeah,
picking you
mom's picking you
up.
up. And I
He
was like,
wasn't even
okay, that's
talking to
fine.
me.
And so yeah, everything was just really normal. I think we had a movie night that night. Like I was super cool. And then I think it was the next day when I went to help her at I think help you at your salon or something that you asked me, how I would feel about you leaving. And I was just like, huh?
Oh
Like,
my
where
god.
is this coming from? Because
Yeah.
real talk, it's not the first time I've heard like of y'all needing to separate or something. So I was kind of like, I don't know, because I didn't know any context behind the conversation. I didn't know that there was a big blowout between them. But I just feel like I don't know. I just kind of like, okay, well.
She said, well.
But I think the first thing that really came to mind is, if you're gonna do this, like I'm gonna help you do it. Like I'm not gonna. I think I also come to the point where it's like if you were gonna leave, like I'll help you actually leave. And yeah, that's why I was happy that the process kind of went by quickly, because the longer you stall and the
Oh my
longer that
gosh.
you're just like,
Back and forth.
wait, or something, like you're never gonna leave at that point. So yeah, I was gonna help you leave if you were gonna leave, and if you're gonna stay, I was gonna respect that. But yeah,
Thank
I
you.
just kind of felt like, honestly, do what you have to do, because yeah, I'll be going to college and stuff, so it's not like,
You have to endure
I
it
have
like
to.
that.
Yeah, I had a way out. Okay, you on the other hand, you had something else to deal with. So.
But and then because I had such a crazy um life circumstance before I went to college, I did not want that for her. Like I didn't want to send her off to school with a rocky. I didn't want her going to school to run from home. That's not what I wanted. I also didn't want her to return home from school and not have a home, or be welcomed back. So I knew just some things had to change. And just like she would have respected my decision, to stay, well, I had to respect myself enough to leave. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah.
just, I mean, I know I've heard of some kids that are pretty selfish actually, and made their like parents feel bad
Yeah.
for leaving. Like, oh, like you're wrecking our family or something. But it's just like, honestly, that's a short term resentment right there.
Usually.
Versus a long term one of you staying and them having to deal with this toxic family. Like,
Yeah.
I
It's
think,
like pick your poison.
yeah, I think I respect you more, because I think in the long run, like in you leaving, you know, it was hard, but I'd rather go through those first few months of emotions and uncomfortability and things like that and transition than, yeah, I
Making a
guess be
lifestyle
there.
of it.
Yeah, and it's something I didn't realize until we were already gone. Honestly, that it was just like, dang, like
We
that
really
was
did it.
that was a very toxic environment to be in. So, yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, I will say this really quickly. Like um it's not my goal to paint this as oh yeah, we left and we're just living happily ever after. It was not without hiccups. The first few months I had trouble focusing on things like just going through a simple budget, or tracking my expenses. Like, I mean, the money was there. I made really good money in spite of, but it was outside of the norm to have money just flying out of my account and I didn't even care where it was going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thank God, he didn't leave me in no negatives or nothing like that. I mean, the money was there, but it was not like me. It was unlike me to not even look at my bank account and not really care where my money was going.
yeah,
As long as the bills were paid, I was just like, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we had to go through all of that. And even because of the love bombing situations, and I wish I could say it was a stage, but it was just ongoing. We've also had talks about moments that were ruined and like things that we want to, or moments that we would like to recreate between us that, he ruined. Or like for her, I never wanted her to be shut down about acknowledging the good times, okay? Because it's really difficult to explain this to people. I've had people ask me stuff like, oh, so was any of that real? Was any of the, the trips and, the family photos or the good times, was any of that real? Yes. But what was even more real was the ugly side. So it's like you get this mix of everything all at once, and it's really, really, again, it's kind of hard to explain unless you've been in it, okay? But like for myself and for her, like I never wanted her to feel shut down or just abruptly stop calling him dad, because she called him dad for like 8 years, 7 years or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not going to turn off. Or sometimes I did look back and I'm like, darn, it was kind of nice at times, to have somebody uh, do my towels for me. If I'm dead dog tired, from working 12 hours at work. Or it's just the companionship
Yeah.
was definitely missed. The parts that I had, even though it was toxic, okay? As a whole, it was toxic, but it had good moments within it. Like I had a blast planning his birthday party. I mean, he went way too far with that again, but I genuinely love to give to people and I love spending quality time with those that I love. Like, I got married because I felt like I actually loved this person. Now, he didn't love me back, the way that I deserved, but yes, those parts were real as well as everything else. So, again, you have to pick your poison. Like, decide, is it worth staying in it so you can continue on the roller coaster or not, because they're going to keep paying for, your bills, your nails, your hair, just whatever. You have to decide, is your peace really worth it? For me, it had come to a point where it was absolutely not. There was nothing he could say, nothing he could do or buy to take back the things that he had done up until that point. The things that he said, excuse me, or the things that he did. I just could not come back. So, anyway, what was another question?
Well, actually, that kind of leads us into the
Oh,
next
dang.
question.
Sorry. She's got questions. I don't.
Any tips for the healing process?
Yeah, I free game, okay? Because like I said, I've been in therapy for a while, but one thing my therapist told me was to slow down. Like, don't be so busy with things at church and with work that I can't feel. Because if you can't feel the emotions that come with this, you will not be able to heal from them. I withdrew from serving. I withdrew from life group. I stopped everything just to focus on me in this process for like a few months, okay? I allowed myself to reflect. I kept a journal through divorce care. I signed up for divorce care ASAP because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing or what, I can expect from this. So I began to journal a lot, just my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions. I feel hurt about da 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 da. I'm really pissed at do 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 do. And one thing I will say that was uncovered or revealed to me while I was in prayer and then doing therapy and stuff was I had to go back. This caused such an abrupt like stop with everything that I was forced to sit down and look backwards to see where this came from. Why did I find myself in this situation? That's when I realized that my ex-husband was not the first narcissist in my life. That's when I discovered that there are several different kinds of narcissists. I never knew any of this, okay? So actually her dad was the second one and my dad was the first one. My dad is a grandiose, like, in your face narcissist. I still do not have contact with him today. Like, he's the type that he uses everything and everybody up as much as he can and will leave you bleeding dry. It doesn't matter if you already were down and out. Like, he only comes around any of his children to see what he can get from us. I wouldn't trust him with my phone number. He can't have my Facebook. In fact, the last time he popped up on my Facebook, it was triggering to me. He made an account. I let him be my friend, and he starts commenting on like my Facebook wall, and he's very, very entitled. And I realized at that moment, actually, the roots of my anger, a lot of it stemmed from my relationship or lack of relationship with my dad. In the way that he never did right by his children, by me. I'm going to speak for me, not everybody. He never did right by me, yet he demanded so much of me. So he demanded respect without giving respect. He demanded that I be so obedient, but he never loved me, or respected me or protected me. So that was actually the first narcissist in my life. And then her dad was the second one. He was so manipulative. Like, he tried to get me to have an abortion in college. I was pregnant at 19, just kind of out here doing my thing. And because I would not do what he wanted me to do, he and his mom constantly tried to bully me. Like, because I would not abort her. So he thought he would make me pay for the rest of her life because I wouldn't do what he wanted me to do initially by basically ghosting her, which made it harder for me as a single parent. So there was no co-parenting relationship. Like, I can talk about that later, but yeah, a court battle, all types of things happened with him. So I had to come back around full circle to the shame, guilt, and embarrassment that I felt from the decisions that both of my parents made. And those decisions left me uncovered as a child. So this was just the beginning of why I was so open to attacks from other narcissists. And Dr. David E. Clark said it too. He said it best. He was like, a lot of women who have narcissistic fathers, they are groomed to withstand and to take insane amounts of abuse. It's like you don't even realize that it's abuse because it's so normal. Okay, so there's just a little bit of the background there. But yeah, do we have any more questions?
Well, I was gonna say something for the healing process. Okay. Because I was just thinking about, I wasn't gonna say this before, but this is kind of mine, because I do read the comments, and I have read the comments, and I just noticed some people, particularly those who had an issue with things like the laughing or all of that kind of stuff. Don't let other people dictate how you should feel. Amen. In this situation.
That's good.
The reality is a lot of people want to see you miserable because they want to feel like they can relate to you. They want someone who's relatable. They want someone who pacifies what they're feeling or represents what they're feeling. But the truth is that not everyone feels miserable when they get a divorce. No. Like, have you guys seen that meme of Nicole Kidman when she divorced Tom Cruise? But I'm serious.
Dancing down
yes,
the street.
She was. She was. Shoot. But that is how some people feel. Like, and that is okay. Because 9 times out of 10 says a lot of times, like, even from my perspective, was it shocking that she went to get a divorce? No. Like, I'm gonna be so for real. That's why it's so funny to see, like, kids and stuff when their moms or dads, whoever is leaving, it's just like, I'm finally leaving or something. Why are you shocked? Like, I do think, not that it's a child's responsibility to, like, be in the marriage like that. Like, I never felt like it was my responsibility to carry really anything within their marriage. But, like, I do think sometimes you can kind of, as a kid, you can kind of be in your own world and like in your own self-absorbed bubble that you don't realize that, like, yeah, your parents have been miserable most of their marriage. Like, if you didn't realize that, and it's nothing, like, it is not an attack on anyone who did not realize that. It is natural. Most of us, especially, like, I was born pretty sheltered. Like, I was born and raised very sheltered, especially compared to, like, how my mom was raised, where she was carrying a lot of things she should not have been carrying. But for me, like, because I cared for the both of them, I did realize that, like, at some point, that, like, I mean, would it be shocking if they got divorced? No. Would it be shocking if they stay together? No. Like, either one, you could flip a coin. Yeah. And either one could happen, but it's just really like, yeah, just don't let your kids, don't let anyone dictate how you react to this process. And it just baffled me when some people were just like, oh, you guys shouldn't be laughing about something so serious. We can laugh about it now, but you do not know how we were reacting months ago. Yeah. Like, I cannot tell you what it was like to sit there in front of some of my best friends and completely sob my eyes out because something, and I thought I was okay. I was just like, I'm totally fine. Like, we're doing this. I'm at school. I sit down with my friends and I'm about to tell them what's happening, and out of nowhere, I just start crying. And I realized it really did hurt me to know that everything I knew was not the same anymore. And I knew in the long run I would be okay. One of my friends actually, she told me that her parents, were divorced, and she told me what it was like for their process and everything. And that made me feel so much better. And my other friend, I mean, her family, they've been so nice to me. Like, they live down the street from us.
Literally.
And I'm so close with them. So I know, like, if I ever needed anything, I could always go to her or her mom and things like that in this process if I wanted to, like, I mean, love my mom, of course. My mom is
But that,
top
your
tier
children, and
mom,
that's another thing. Your children, I wanted to give her permission to step outside of mommy to get what she needed at that time from whoever she felt comfortable getting it from. Like, I don't believe in that what happens in the house stays in the house. Children should be seen and not heard. That's BS. And I was not raising her like that. Because that leaves me looking like I'm superwoman, superhuman, and like I got it all and can do it all. I ain't all that. I need Jesus, okay? And he's blessed us with such a great village. That's why I told you guys in the last part, you need a village.
Yeah.
I told her she could absolutely confide in friends, her close friends. I ain't saying,
Yeah.
but she's a proper person anyway. So yeah, her close friends, and we needed people that would pray for us. Her best friend's mom, I mean, she would just, girl, invite me. Girl, come on, let's spend time with Jesus together. I'm like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes it ain't even words. It was just a hug, after prayer or whatever at church. So, whew, that stuff, it meant a lot. So, but yeah, I mean, it is a process. And like she said, I mean, it's like you're going to be okay, but you don't know when. You don't know how. Like, you're left in the dark about a lot, and it's literally putting one foot in front of the next and taking one step at a time, one day at a time. One step at a time, one day at a time.
And it's like, and I'm not someone who's like, I hate to say, like, I'm not a huge, like, feminist or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, not this worldly kind of feminism that we got
Not
going
that.
on.
We ain't doing that.
But I do think, especially when it comes to women, the world is very harsh on how women should feel in certain situations.
Yeah.
Very harsh on how women should react. A woman should be miserable from her divorce, and the man should be in a bachelor pad. Like,
ooh, and that's typically what
not-
happens. That's wild.
That's not how it
wild.
goes. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't always go like that. Sometimes the woman is actually okay after a divorce. Does it hurt sometimes to think about, how so many years it felt like so many years went down the drain?
Yeah.
Probably, and does it?
But I don't feel like I wasted my life either. I mean, I have to be honest.
you're
Like,
not
I
that
learned
old.
I learned a lot about marriage. Like, that taught me a lot about the role of a wife. Like, what does that really look like to persevere, to not give up, on someone, to keep trying and trying. But I knew because of the Holy Spirit in me. I'm telling you, I'm not going to say I don't know how. It was because of the Holy Spirit. If I had waited one more year, I don't think I would have walked away like this. I don't think I would be laughing, smiling now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how I knew, but I knew my time was expired. Yeah. And I could not force it beyond that point of disrespect.
Yeah.
Without seriously ending up in jail.
And I think that's why it happened.
No,
so
I'm
fast,
for real.
Though. Like, I'm pretty sure
I'm
you
like,
said
baby,
that you wanted to leave him, and I
ooh.
think like about the next week is when we started looking at apartments. And
We were
stuff.
gone in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was like it was very quick, but I just think sometimes that just kind of shows how you don't have time.
You don't have time to think about all of that.
Protect your peace, protect yourself, protect your kids, even if they don't feel like they're being protected in that moment. Like,
they can look back and see, just keep praying for them. And again, build that village, because you may not have the words for your children in that moment. But maybe a teacher does. Maybe their youth pastor does. Maybe, their friend's mom, has words of wisdom or, prayers for them. But God will take care of your children. And that's another thing. I mean, you just can't be double-minded. Once you decide enough is enough, you got to move. You got to make a move. You can pray all day. You can fast all day. But at some point, God is going to require you to actually take steps, So I mean, we know that without faith, it's impossible to please God. You got to have faith in this just like anything else. I mean, to be honest. So, I'm not going to keep y'all too long on this one. On the next one, because we started getting comments, a lot of comments about our mother daughter dynamic. I think we will transition over to that. And I will tell you the blueprint in the background that I was raised in that contributed to how I raised her to be this.
To be 5'2".
You know what I'm saying? And y'all are so sweet. And I'm praying for each and every one of you guys. The comments about how some of you guys have estranged relationships with your mom, I see it and I lift it up before the Lord. I'm still checking emails and going through, and I am responding to each and every one. I'm also, I can't speak about that right now, but I'm getting something else in the works to be able to serve you guys in a greater capacity, if that's okay with you. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have any questions, as usual, comment below and let me know. Thank you. Holler. Love you guys so much.
Bye.